सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 11. We will chant from verses 11 to 20.
दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम् दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम् सर्वाश्चर्यमयम् देवम् अनन्तम् विश्वतोमुखम् दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः। तत्रैकस्थम् जगत्कृत्स्नम् प्रविभक्तमनेकधा अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा ततः स विस्मयाविष्टः हृष्टरो मा धनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवम् कृताञ्जलिरभाषत। अर्जुन उवाच पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेहे सर्वांस्तथा भूतविशेषसङ्घान् ब्रह्माणमीशं कमलासनस्थम् ऋषींश्च सर्वानुरगांश्च दिव्यान् अनेकबाहूदरवक्त्रनेत्रम् पश्यामि त्वां सर्वतोऽनन्तरूपम् नान्तं न मध्यं न पुनस्तवादिम् पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूप। किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रिणं च तेजोराशिं सर्वतो दीप्तिमन्तम् पश्यामि त्वां दुर्निरीक्ष्यं समन्तात् दीप्तानलार्कद्युतिमप्रमेयम् त्वमक्षरं परमं वेदितव्यम् त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम् त्वमव्ययः शाश्वतधर्मगोप्ता सनातनस्त्वं पुरुषो मतो मे अनादिमध्यान्तमनन्तवीर्यम् अनन्तबाहुं शशिसूर्यनेत्रम् पश्यामि त्वां दीप्तहुताशवक्त्रम् स्वतेजसा विश्वमिदं तपन्तम् द्यावा पृथिव्योरिदमन्तरं हि व्याप्तं त्वयैकेन दिशश्च सर्वाः दृष्टाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदम् लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मन्।
So last week we started the study of the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Vishwa Rupa Darshana Yoga, the yoga of the vision of the cosmic form. Now, as discussed last week, This chapter, our approach is going to be not verse by verse, which we have been doing so far up to chapter 10. The reason is there is not too much of philosophy in chapter 11. So, what we'll be doing is trying to understand the main points in each topic. So, there are 6 topics. So, what we'll be studying is topic summary. And last week we covered the first topic, if I'm not mistaken. Arjuna requests and Krishna shows his cosmic form, verse number 1 to 12. Now, just to recap what we discussed last week, see, though the chapter is called Cosmic Form, the vision of the cosmic form, Arjuna sees Krishna as a God's cosmic form. You have to understand that God or Supreme Reality cannot have any form, because God is referred to as something infinite, all pervading. So any entity which is infinite, which is everywhere, which is all pervading, by default cannot have any form. But Krishna is catering to Arjuna. Arjuna meaning he is catering to the average person who believes God has a form. So he is meeting average person at his or her level. He is not getting into the argument. Don't you understand? God is infinite. How can anything infinite have any form? That person will walk away from a spiritual path. Definitely, he or she has interest, but most of the concepts are misunderstood initially. So it is okay. So therefore, Krishna is coming to the level of Arjuna, which is average seeker, and he goes with him. Yes, there is a form. I will show you my form and all that. So that's the reason we are not going too deep into the 11th chapter. There is not too much of philosophy to begin with, but definitely main points we are going to cover in each topic. And as we do topic summary, you can refer to the book. That was your homework, I think, last week. You're supposed to read the commentary on verse 1, from verse number 1 to 12. So there were 7 or 8 main points in the first topic. So the first main point was supreme reality or God is referred to as the topmost secret. It is a supreme secret. Now, why it is a supreme secret? Because with body, mind, intellect, we cannot capture what is God. With your senses, you can't perceive God. With your mind, you cannot feel God. With your intellect, you cannot understand as a concept, this is God. And the second reason is we all are caught up in conditioned states, 3 conditioned states. We keep on mentioning this from time to time: waking, dream, deep sleep. So we all are caught up in these 3 states. And these 3 states, they are conditioned states, they are conditioned by our desires. And supreme reality or God is unconditioned state. So since we are conditioned, all of us are conditioned, how can a conditioned person understand what is unconditioned state? So therefore, it is referred to as secret. And most people, most of us live in this conditioned state. We don't know what is beyond these 3 conditioned states. What is our original state? None of us know. So most people, they spend their entire life in this ignorance. They are doing nothing but groping in the darkness and ignorance. And we discussed Plato's metaphor, isn't it? So it's a very powerful metaphor, that how that civilization is nothing but you and I. So entire life goes in this conditioned state. At times we are happy, at times we are not so happy, at times we are excited, at times we are whatever. But it has got nothing to do with our original state. So therefore we say our entire life goes in ignorance and darkness because we don't know what is that supreme reality. And that supreme reality, incidentally, is our original state. All scriptures, they are telling that to us. You are that supreme reality. So, what we are supposed to do with this knowledge is to shift our focus from body, mind, intellect, in which we are caught up, to something what is beyond body, mind, intellect, what enlivens my body, mind, intellect to function. So, that is God, that is supreme reality. And how do you shift your focus? By three spiritual practices: path of action, path of devotion, path of knowledge. Because it is desires which are obscuring the divinity in all of us. That's the cover. So how do you remove these desires? Desires are at three levels: at physical or action level, at emotional level, at intellectual level, knowledge level. So therefore, you have to use these three spiritual practices, and with the help of these three spiritual practices, quality of desire improves, quantity of desire drops to begin with, and then you come to a stage of meditation where handful of desires are left, and through meditation you know that you are that supreme reality. You get that experience of supreme reality. So it is a subjective apprehension. You're not going to apprehend supreme reality by body, mind, intellect. Just as a dreamer becomes the waker. Through dream, body, mind, intellect, he cannot contact the waking state. He has to transcend his dream, body, mind, intellect. So similarly, we have to transcend, as it were, our body, mind, intellect to get the subjective experience of the state of supreme reality, which is also referred to as a state of self realization. And then we discussed a little bit about the concept of gross intellect and subtle intellect. See, when Krishna says, I will give you divine eye, what is that divine eye? Nobody can give you that divine vision or whatever. This again is for the layperson. So most of us are operating at the level of gross intellect. And gross intellect can transact, understand, analyze, reason within the periphery of the terrestrial. But supreme reality is something transcendental, it is beyond terrestrial. So you have to use your subtle intellect to think, comprehend what could that supreme reality be. So in that sense, the word or that usage divine eye is meant. And every human being has a subtle intellect. What makes us human is we have subtle intellect. But what blocks our subtle intellect is again desires. You may be brilliant in your field, you may be successful, but supreme reality is something beyond the terrestrial. And for that, you need that different kind of a thinking. What's my purpose in life? What's my mission in life? So again, it is your own desires which obscure that line of thinking, subtle intellect. So to the extent you offload your desires, to that extent your subtle intellect starts functioning. It becomes sharp. It becomes available. And how you do that? Again, through three spiritual practices. So it's not in black and white. as you start offloading your desires, that spiritual inquiry in you becomes more and more prominent, isn't it? You can go by your own experience. But what you have to understand is, by default, you have subtle intellect. Every human being has subtle intellect. You may not be using it, but that does not mean you don't have it. So that is that usage, divine eye. Krishna tells Arjuna, I will give you that divine eye. I will help you to offload your desires and your subtle intellect will start functioning. That's what it means. And then the last point was, we're just recapping topic 1. And the last topic was why it is so difficult to understand the concept of God. Because God or Supreme Reality is nothing but oneness. No other entity exists apart from Supreme Reality. There is only ocean, there are no waves. Yes, from relative level, there are millions of waves, then there is ocean. But from absolute level, there is only ocean. What waves are we talking about? So we are caught up in the relative world. That's the way we understand that there is spirit, then there is matter, which is made up of objects and beings, and we are having a solid experience in day-to-day life. There is an experiencer and there is object or being which you are experiencing at any level of your personality, isn't it? You are experiencing sound. With mind, you experience emotions. With intellect, you experience various concepts, various thoughts, various ideas and ideologies. So, for us, the world is nothing but subject and object and the relationship. But supreme reality is where experience and experienced they merge. And why we say experiencer and experienced merge? Because there is no duality. So therefore, initially it is kind of hard for us to tune into that kind of subtle thinking. And if you read the translation of verse number 10, 11, 12, this is where we get that concept that experiencer and experienced merge. And he's showing that Arjuna sees the form. In that form, he sees mouths and eyes and various objects together. It's all symbolic. Mouths meaning organs of action, eyes meaning organs of perception. Various objects is pluralistic word. So everything is in one form, meaning experiencer and experienced, they merge. So therefore, he is not able to fathom what's happening. He is kind of confused. So these were the main points in the first topic. So are we okay? Now the second topic is called Stuck with Wonder. Arjuna describes the cosmic form. Verse number 13 to 25. So you can refer to verse number 13 or you can keep that page open. From verse number 13 onwards, we'll be studying today. Now, this topic, the second topic, describes creation and sustenance expression of Brahman. Brahman meaning supreme reality. See, supreme reality, if you look at the world, there are three different ways in which the world functions. So we say supreme reality manifests in three different ways. There is creation, there is sustenance, there is maintenance. Creation, sustenance, and destruction. Sorry. So which is symbolically shown as three different gods, right? Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. It's a concept. Now, if you carefully analyze the world, you can see this reflected. If you start with your own personality, we all are born, right? And then once we are born, there is some power which is sustaining us. The fact that our body is functioning meticulously for 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years is a miracle. Something is sustaining us, isn't it? Then there is food for us to eat, there is water for us to drink, there is oxygen for us to breathe. There are so many amenities Providence is giving us. So we are being sustained. And every being which is born has to die. So we are born, we are sustained. One day we all have to go, that is destruction. So we can clearly see there are three manifestations, isn't it? There is creation, there is sustenance, there is dissolution, or you can say there is destruction. Also, if you observe the world, same thing is happening. Say right now in North America, there are no leaves on the trees, you know, but another, I think, few weeks, suddenly you will find, or maybe in a month's time, the entire tree will be green. That is how that tree is sustained. So the leaves, the tree is born, the leaves are born, they shed the leaves, again they come back. So in this process, the tree is sustained. I'm giving you a few examples of creation, sustenance, and destruction. I mean, you can use your own imagination. And also, if you observe the world, the stars and galaxies, so any scientist will tell you, any documentary on science will tell you, they are born. Stars are born, galaxies are being born. There are documentaries where they show that particular galaxy is like a baby in the womb, it's in the process of being born. Then they exist for, we don't know, for billions of years, but there is a shelf life. Even these galaxies, the stars, one fine day, there is end to them. So we can clearly see these three manifestations in the world. Are you with me? This is how supreme reality is manifesting. There is creation, there is sustenance, there is destruction. This is how the thought flow starts. But supreme reality is neutral. The same supreme reality, the God principle which is functioning in the world, the same God principle is functioning in you and I. But that God principle is neutral, is the main point. How you use that God principle, that choice is given to you. How you use your body, mind, intellect. You can use body, mind, intellect to do something nobler, to do something great, to do something constructive. You have that choice. Or the same body, mind, intellect you can use to mess up your life, to mess up your family members' life, to mess up the life of the community and whatnot. You can't blame God principle, you can't blame God. So that choice is given to you. It is neutral. The God, I repeat, the God principle is neutral. But how you use that God principle in your life, in your day-to-day life, moment to moment, you have a choice. So you may use it positively, you may use it negatively. So that choice is given to you. You may live indulgent life, and become a materialistic and a sensual person, or you may live a disciplined life. You have that choice. You can entertain biased negative thoughts, or you can entertain noble thoughts. See, Shakespeare, he educates the entire humanity on that choice of action, isn't it? Therefore, his plays are so popular and it's a universal message. Like Macbeth had a choice. When he was promoted as a general in the army, he had a choice to serve his king. But he chose to kill his own king, his own benefactor. So that's the play. Brutus had that choice. His benefactor was Julius Caesar. He could have supported Julius Caesar, but he chose to assassinate his own benefactor. it must be by his death. It's a very famous statement. It must be by his death. What do we mean by it? The good of Rome or my personal ambition? People, they debate. Of course, it was his own personal ambition. It must be by his death. So he had that choice. That he was not a bad person. Though he assassinated Julius Caesar, see that one mistake he made in his life, which brought about his downfall. But by and large, he was a good person. So similarly, we all are good people by and large. Somebody may say, no, I'm good 24/7. Yes, of course, why not? But one wrong choice, one negative choice can bring about your downfall in life. So don't blame anybody. Don't blame God. It is neutral. So that's the main point. And also that supreme reality is your original state. So you have been saying this from the beginning. You are that supreme reality. And unless and until you reach that state of supreme reality, which is also referred to as infinite peace, infinite bliss, you cannot find true purpose and fulfillment in life. You cannot find happiness in life. How do you know? Analyze your own life. Have you found true happiness? We're not talking about you contact the world, you acquire objects and beings of the world, and your mind is quietened for a while. That is not the definition of happiness. Okay, you wanted money, you got X amount of money. Somebody may say, yes, I'm genuinely content with money. That is no happiness. But has that money given you true happiness in life? No. How do you know? You take away all that money, all your mental agitations will come back. So for the time being, your desires are fulfilled. Even if you get a lot of money, have you found happiness in life? Infinite peace, contentment in life? You haven't. Somebody may try in relationship. Have you found happiness in a relationship? No. Even if you get the best spouse in the world, you can't be really happy. Somebody may pursue power, may get power. Are you happy with that power? So any acquisition, enjoyment, any object and being, tangible, intangible, you may acquire in the world, you cannot find contentment, you cannot find happiness. Why? Because what you are looking for is what? You must tell me, what are you looking for in life?
Infinite peace.
Excellent. So how can anything finite give you infinite peace and happiness? And you are that infinite person. You are that infinity. So due to ignorance, you are trying to find peace, happiness in the finite world. So therefore we say supreme reality is you. You are that supreme reality. And you will not rest content till you become it. But due to the ignorance of that supreme reality, you and I are caught up in this pluralistic world. Where there is supreme reality, you and I are projecting what? It's a simple concept. See, all the scriptures are telling us God alone exists. There is only supreme reality. But you and I are experiencing what at this moment?
The pluralistic world.
You and I are experiencing a solid, seeming pluralistic world. Why are we experiencing this pluralistic world where there is only one reality? Is the question.
Because we're in the conditioned state.
Because we are in a conditioned state. Okay, this could be one of the answers. Good answer. But what else?
Because of our desires caught up.
Mm-hmm.
Because of our ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we are talking. Slowly we are getting closer to the answer. Good, very good. What else? See, if you refer to the book, he brings in the concept of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is Lord of creation. There is no such personality. Meaning, you and I are experiencing a pluralistic world. So if you read the verse from 15, 16, 17 onwards, or these 2 or 3 verses, you will find Arjuna is saying, okay, I see your universal form. Also, I see objects and beings. Also, I see Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma meaning is the beginning of creation. Lord Brahma created everything. It is for the layman. For you and I, we understand where there is supreme reality. You and I are projecting a pluralistic world. Not only we are projecting a pluralistic world, we are completely caught up, completely entangled, completely enmeshed in our own creation. So the pluralistic world is created by what? Somebody already given the answer. The pluralistic world of objects and beings is created due to our own
Desires.
ignorance, our own ignorance. Where there is a rope, boy sees a snake. Snake is created due to what?
Ignorance of the rope.
Ignorance of what?
The rope.
Ignorance of the rope. Everybody does not see the snake. See, that's the point in that example. You and I don't see the snake. Boy is seeing the snake. Why you and I don't see the snake? Because we understand rope as a rope. But boy has not understood rope as a rope. In fact, he has not understood the rope. The word which we use is non-understanding or non-apprehension. So if you find these words a little bit hard to understand, don't worry about it. So it is the ignorance of the rope, the non-apprehension of the rope, which produces the misunderstanding that it is the snake. So it is not rope which produces the snake. Do you get the point? It is the ignorance of the rope which produces the misunderstanding that it is a snake, it is a crack in the earth, something similar. So similarly, where there is supreme reality, enlightened masters, they don't see the world. So they have apprehended the reality. But you and I, since we don't understand the supreme reality, the ignorance of supreme reality, non-understanding of supreme reality, non-apprehension of supreme reality, all these are synonyms. They produce the misunderstanding. They produce the misapprehension of what?
Snake.
The snake. Or is a pluralistic world of objects and beings in our case. So, non-apprehension of reality is Lord Brahma, if somebody wants to know. So, Lord Brahma created the world, meaning non-apprehension. There is no Mr. Brahma who has factory somewhere and producing objects and beings of the world. So, Lord Brahma equals non-apprehension of supreme reality. And once you do not understand supreme reality, it projects the misunderstanding of this pluralistic world, which is our own creation. See, that's the reason there are only 2 temples for Lord Brahma in India. Those who are from India, they will know what I am talking about. One is in Rajasthan, Pushkar, correct me if I am wrong, and There is one more place, wherever, doesn't matter. The only two temples for Lord Brahma. And for Vishnu and Shiva, every street there is a temple in their name. What is the reason behind this? See how beautifully, even for layman, they have designed this philosophy. They can't discuss the way you and I are discussing, but imagine like every street had Lord Brahma temple. That means what? You are promoting creation. The creation is a product of your ignorance, so they are not promoting ignorance. So only two temples of Lord Brahma in entire India. But Shiva and Vishnu, every street, sometimes every street has got two or three. So there's a subtle message.
If we don't understand Brahma, yet we, kind of quite in touch with the sustenance and destruction.
Yep, correct. Yeah, that also is a good thinking. Yeah, definitely. All right. So we are in ignorance. Why do we say we are in ignorance? Are you following the thought flow? Why do we say we are in ignorance? Because we have already projected the pluralistic world, isn't it? But if you choose to remain in ignorance, what happens? Which is all of us. Somebody may say, no, I want to remain ignorant. What is your problem? It's my life. No, there is a price you are paying. And symbolically, they are showing verse number 15, 16, if you read. Arjuna sees Lord Vishnu, is called as Chaturbhuja Vishnu. In one hand, he is holding a lotus, second hand, he is holding a conch, third hand, he is holding a mace, fourth hand is holding a sword disc. And with that, he is giving message to the entire humanity. No talk, nothing. No discussion, no lecture, no question answer session, nothing. He just, with four hands, is giving message to the entire humanity. That is what happens if you continue to remain in ignorance. Are you getting the thought flow? See, in one hand he is holding a lotus. Second hand is holding a conch. Shankha means conch. Third hand is holding a mace. All these like fighters they use, wrestlers they use. And in the fourth hand he is using, he's holding sword disc. It's called as Sudarshan Chakra. Now, lotus symbolizes bliss. Why they have selected lotus to symbolize bliss, infinite peace, infinite bliss? Because lotus has got greasy surface. Though it is in water 24/7, it is not affected by the water. It has that greasy surface. It has that quality. So similarly, a man of self-realization, he is enjoying infinite peace, infinite bliss 24/7, irrespective of external circumstances. External circumstances is water. That is a comparison. He may be best of circumstances, he or she may be in worst of circumstances. That bliss which he or she is enjoying is not diminished. It remains. So therefore, lotus is selected to represent infinite peace, infinite bliss. So bliss is your original nature, which we claim we have lost it at this moment. Actually, how can you lose it? You cannot lose it, right? But for all practical purposes, we are not experiencing it. So infinite peace, infinite bliss is your original nature. It is with you 24/7. It can never leave you. And your conscience is all the time directing you towards that infinite peace. If you if you do anything negative, if your direction is towards the world, if you live a life of materiality and sensuality, if you do something unselfish, if you do something unrighteous, instantly there is a warning by your own conscience that, hey, what you are doing is not correct. Nobody has to tell you what is right, what is wrong, what is righteous, what is unrighteous. That discussion is absolutely futile. Why it is futile? Because your own conscience is telling you all the time that, hey, the direction which you are taking is wrong. Yes, you may not heed to the voice of the conscience. Good many people, they don't do that because conscience, the voice of the conscience is obscured by your own desires. So therefore you don't hear it. That does not mean there is no conscience. You get the point. But it is a God's gift to all of us that the moment you take wrong direction in life, God, as it were, will warn you, hey, buddy, where are you going? Don't you think you are wandering in life? Don't you think you have to correct your direction? So that is how conscience functions in all of us, in every human being. And all worldly activities, they produce mental agitations. People, they claim they say they are agitated. Most people, they say they are agitated. Why are they agitated? Because your worldly activities, they are taking you in the wrong direction. Not worldly activities per se, if you do them selfishly. Family is a beautiful institution. If you have a partner, it's an opportunity, it's a unique opportunity for you to evolve, provided you are serving your partner, provided you are serving your family. But the moment you start claiming rights, then you are going in the wrong direction. You are going in the opposite direction. That's what produces mental agitations. Similarly, you have to function in life with your talent, whatever talent you have. You may be in business, you may be in sports, you may be in politics, you may be in whatever. So you can use your talent, that action, to evolve spiritually. But the same profession, same action, if you do it selfishly, you are going in the wrong direction. Therefore, it produces mental agitations. And since 99.99% people perhaps are selfish, whatever they are doing produces mental agitation. They start a family full of mental agitation. They go to a workplace full of mental agitations. They get into power full of mental agitations, come to the religious path full of agitation. So therefore we say all your worldly activities, they are producing mental agitations. It's not worldly activities per se. If you do whatever you have to do in life as means to an end to become a better human being, then you are going in the right direction. But since good many people, they do not do that, we are making a statement, all worldly activities produce mental agitations because direction is wrong. And if you do not listen to the voice of your own conscience, what happens? Then you get knocks and shocks of life, the mace, you know. Meaning, if you do not find peace in you, if you don't correct the direction, then you are warned by these external knocks and shocks, mental agitations. That's what it means. The other day, I don't know, a few weeks back, talking to one lady, the way she was describing, she's saying, I don't know how I am alive. No, I mean, suicidal thoughts she has been entertaining for a while. What's wrong if you ask me? Fighting with her spouse going on for 2, 3, 4 years. The knocks and shocks of life. Trying to find happiness in a relationship in a wrong way. How can you find? This is how you get knocks and shocks of life. Or it could be some situation in the family. We all go through ups and downs of life. Nothing wrong with the situation. But you are trying to find peace in that particular situation. You cannot. Somebody may try to find happiness with wealth, Wealth goes down, you're miserable. Wealth goes up, you are happy. So you're constantly getting knocks and shocks of life. So what do we mean by these knocks and shocks of life? If you don't listen to the voice of your conscience, is you need to change your thinking, you need to change the direction of your life. You don't have to change objects and beings in your life. You have to understand that you will not find happiness in anything external, which you are doing. Therefore, you're getting these knocks and shocks of life. See, it's like tire pressure monitoring system in a car. All modern cars, they have that, it's called as TPMS. Correct me if I am wrong. So you can't blame that monitor that the tire pressure is supposed to be 42, it is showing 33. When was the last time you checked your air pressure, especially in winter? Once in 3 to 4 weeks, you have to do that, isn't it? I'm not changing topic, but I also am changing topic. So you're supposed to do that. Is good for us. So similarly, these knocks and shocks of life, if you are receiving them, it is, in fact, God is kind with you. He is helping you to change your ways of life. He is helping you to, he is telling you to change the direction of your life. That, hey, brother, you cannot find peace in the external world and you are making that mistake. And why are you unnecessarily miserable? There is no happiness in a relationship. Now, that does not mean you don't have a healthy relationship. Don't get it wrong. But if you're breaking your head on the wall, oh my God, this is what is happening, this is what is happening. I mean, that's the nature of the world. It's not his fault, it's not her fault. You are trying to find happiness in the world. So in that sense, we are saying you get knocks and shocks of life. And if you don't correct yourself, even after getting knocks and shocks of life, then next is self-destruction. So which is Sudarshan Chakra, sword disc. So you are destroyed by your own actions. You are destroyed by the wrong direction you are taking in life. And we find how many people they have destroyed themselves in various fields. It could be in a relationship, the trauma they go through. There are people who have destroyed their life in the pursuit of wealth. There are people who have destroyed themselves in the pursuit of power. We can go on and on. So the best way to live life is to get the knowledge. The moment you are ignorant, you will try to find peace in the external world. That something in you is telling you that peace is not in the external world, and that correcting mechanism is called as conscience. And if you don't heed to the voice of your own conscience, it's your most faithful friend. Nobody is denied conscience. Constantly it is pointing towards the higher values, towards supreme reality. If you don't heed to the voice of your own conscience, then you get knocks and shocks of life in various aspects of life. It could be in family life, it could be in workplace, it could be anywhere. And if you still do not change your lifestyle or your thinking or the way you relate to objects and beings of the world, then you are annihilated by your own actions. So, beautifully coming back to the main point, that Lord Vishnu with 4 hands. Lotus, conscience, lotus, what is that? Conch, mace, and what? Sword disc, Sudarshan Chakra. No comments, no discussion, no lecture. Now you decide how you want to live your life. So that's the meaning. If you read the commentary, verse number 14, 15, you will find, I mean, it's not explained in such great detail, but that's what I am referring to, verse number 15, 16, 17. And then he gives, now he has been talking about supreme reality, and then he gives indicative definitions of supreme reality in verse number 18. So what is that supreme reality? So if you go to that particular page, those who have the book, you will find it is there. I consider you to be the imperishable supreme to be known, you to be the ultimate abode of this universe, you to be the immutable protector of eternal laws, to be the ancient Purusha being. So these are indicative definitions. It cannot be supreme reality. Reality cannot be captured by words. So it is imperishable. It is supreme, beyond the experience of body, mind, intellect, beyond three states of conditioning. It is something which is to be known, meaning at this moment we do not know it. It is understood. Right now we don't know what is supreme reality. Those scriptures are telling us what is it. Right now we don't know. So therefore that has to be our main aim in life, the only purpose in life. Then also supreme reality is described as protector of various laws. So why are you worrying unnecessarily? World is nothing but the expression of various laws, and these laws are functioning meticulously. There are laws of physics, there are laws of chemistry, there are laws of mathematics, there are laws of electricity, there are laws of life. So if you understand world is functioning meticulously on the law of cause and effect, why are you worrying? Your obligation is to sow a particular cause, a right cause, to the best of your ability. Why are you worried about the effect? Effect is automatic. If you eat healthy food, if you do regular exercises, what will happen? Effect is automatic. You will be healthy. If you get this knowledge, if you study, contemplate on this knowledge every day, what will be the effect? Slowly but surely, it will remove your desires. It will remove your ignorance. So why are you worrying? I'm studying this knowledge. I'm in touch with this knowledge. Still, my life is in a mess. It's not possible. Are you studying seriously? Is the question. Law of gravitation, gravity is functioning perfectly. Why should we worry? What will happen if even for 5 minutes that law does not function? Will I go flying into the space? No, there is a providence which is functioning meticulously. So don't unnecessarily worry about what will happen. You just sow the cause, do your obligations to the best of your ability in any field, be on the right path, be righteous. How can you be neglected in life? It's not possible. How can anything negative happen? So when you understand life as such, that is nothing but cause and effect, and you are righteous in life, doesn't matter what you do at home, at work, meaning going in the right direction, functioning in the spirit of service and sacrifice. That's what I mean by righteous. Why are you worrying unnecessarily? And that worry, that fear comes when you don't do anything positive in life. This is how the thought flow goes in the book. That Arjuna, he looks at a form and he's afraid, It's all poetry. So I'm trying to explain to you why that fear comes. If you're on the right path, you're doing your obligations, you're a righteous person, what is there to fear in life? Whether at home, whether at work, in any aspect of life, there is nothing to fear. But when you're not on the right path, when you're ignorant, then that fear comes. And there are few reasons of fear. Since we use the word fear, what can produce fear in us is called as fear psychology. First reason is ignorance. Where there is ignorance, there is fear. You go to Canada, you don't know whether you can take a right turn at the red signal, it will produce fear. In America, we do, unless otherwise it is mentioned. Sometimes people, they ask this question: Can I take a right? Can I take a right turn at the red signal in Canada? Charu, if you go to Canada, she will have that fear. Not you and me, because we are used to it, you know. So it is ignorance which produces fear. When you are ignorant of how to live life, it produces fear. When you don't know what is birth and death, it produces fear. What will happen if I die? What will happen if somebody close to me dies? With this knowledge, you understand it's nothing but continuation. So ignorance can produce fear. Second reason is otherness can produce fear. If you are in a familiar place, then there is no fear. But if you go to a foreign country, you don't know what that place is, it can produce fear. See, I live in Michigan, you know, so we are so used to driving our cars. Go start the car, park the car, and go. But you suddenly you have to use like subway in New York, metro in New York. We are not familiar with that, so that can produce fear. In Michigan, what fear? Take out a car, park, and go. You know, so otherness can produce fear. When you are with people who don't look like you, it may produce fear in that sense. Selfishness produces fear. Wickedness produces fear. If you are wicked, if you are destructive, constantly you have that fear. Such people have that fear. You know, what will happen? What will happen if I lose my power? What will happen if I lose my money? Because you are destructive, you are manipulative. If your life is based on service and sacrifice, I mean, what fear? Desires produces fear. What will happen if my desire is not fulfilled? And attachment produces fear. There's a fear of losing object or a being. What will happen if my children leave me? What will happen if I lose wealth? You are attached to it. So these are the six main reasons: ignorance, otherness, selfishness, wickedness, desires, and attachment. So that's what is happening to Arjuna. All psychologically, it's nothing but psychology. And the last and the most important reason for fear is the moment you take anything personally in life, and you are taking everything from personal point of view. It doesn't matter which part of life. Relationship, personalizing. Children, constantly you're personalizing. Workplace, you're personalizing. Religion, you're personalizing. So everything you're personalizing in life. So the moment you take anything from personal point of view, there is fear. The moment you are objective, the moment you're impersonal, how can there be any fear? So when you take anything personally, when you personalize anything, you lose courage and peace. That's what has happened to Arjuna. He's a warrior, he's a decorated soldier. But the moment he looked at the whole thing from personal point of view, he could not fight the war. So you may be counseling others, but when there's a problem at home, 100 people may have to counsel you because you personalize everything. You get the point. So when you personalize anything, it leads to attachment. Attachment is deadly and you suffer. A person in charge of rehabilitation center, I'm just giving you an example, think about it and then we will conclude. Imagine a person, he is in charge of a rehabilitation center, you know, where um, you send people when they suffer from drug addiction and all that. In that sense, I'm using the word rehabilitation center. And he has won many awards. That yeah, he's a great counselor. The way he's handling all the patients. What if his own son or daughter is admitted in a rehabilitation center, same rehab center? What will happen? forget about treating. He will have to be sent to another rehab center. He will collapse. So what happens to his talent? It's not that he doesn't have talent. The moment he personalizes my son, my daughter, he is attached. The moment he attaches, he will lose his courage, he will lose his peace, there will be mental agitations, and he will not be able to deal with that particular situation. Now, apply this formula in your life, in my life. We are personalizing everything 24/7, or to the extent you are personalizing, to that extent you find that you are getting bogged down by the problems, isn't it? So, it is that personalization, it produces fear. The last 3 to 4 verses, that drama is happening here. Arjuna sees the form and he says, I am shivering, I can't handle this anymore. So we are trying to understand the psychology behind that. What is this fear? What are the reasons for fear? And none of us are free from it. It's a question of more or less. So you need to go to the root cause. So 6 reasons we discussed for fear. And the 7th and the most powerful was personalization. So that concludes the second topic. So we have 2 more sessions. Next week, we will study topic 3 and 4. And then session 4 will be topic 5 and 6. And then we'll start with chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita. I think March 21st is the date. And there is a possibility that we may do chapter 12 in person in Troy in Michigan at Vijay and Raj's house. So wait for the formal announcement and email, but by and large it is confirmed. So we do it once or twice in the year. So from March 21st, we start with 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And it's a good way to introduce somebody to Bhagavad Gita because I mentioned last week, Bhagavad Gita goes to a different level altogether from chapter 12 onwards. And in-person attendance has got its own charm, it's a different experience. So those who are in Michigan, especially those who live in and around Troy, Bloomfield Hills, West Bloomfield, Sterling Heights, these are the areas. It's a unique opportunity. So consider attending in person. Vijay, can you raise your hand? Yeah, he's a nice guy. So he'll be the host. And he has spent a lot of money and efforts to design his basement so that we can have these lectures or events there. All right, so any quick question before we conclude?
I have a question.
Yeah, who's the questioner?
This is Manika.
Yeah, Mimi, tell me.
Do you mind, or good morning. Do you mind reviewing the 7 reasons for fear just real quickly?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can note down. Number 1, ignorance. Number 2, otherness. Otherness versus familiar place. The feeling of otherness. Third is selfishness, self-centeredness. Every self-centered person has fear. Fourth is wickedness. Destructive. If you're destructive, if you're wicked, there will be fear. Fifth is desires. To the extent you have desires, to that extent, there is a fear. What will happen if my desire is not fulfilled? That fear. And last is attachment. It's the worst reason for the fear.
Thank
Fear
you.
of losing. The moment you are attached, there's a fear of losing. So these are the 6 reasons. And personalization is nothing but attachment. So it's an extension of last point number 6. Are you okay?
I am. Thank you.
All right. So should we conclude for today? Okay, great. So have a wonderful weekend and see you next Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Michi.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.